The Shariat Application Act 1937 was adopted in the British era itself, and the Muslim personal law, Muslim custom traditions, which were codified and made applicable in the Indian sphere. We also seen the Mughal emperors earlier established Hanafi law because they belongs to Hanafi school. And thereafter Britisher also continued that law, but they invited Maulavis and Mufti to give opinion on legal questions, and thereby they administered Muslim law in India. So the court in India apply those rules of Muslim law which have been expressly directed to be applied to Muslims, except insofar as they are abrogated by the Indian legislature. So, unless Indian legislature abrogated certain custom, those customs were applied, if not abrogated. But if abrogated, those were not applied. Therefore, for example, the rule of Muslim law that a convert from Islam is to be excluded from inheritance is abrogated by Indian Parliament by making Freedom of Religion Act 1850. So, the other rules, though not expressly directed to be applied, are not excluded by the Indian legislature, either expressly or by implication. These rules were applied as a matter of equity, justice, and good conscience. Means those customs for which Indian legislature had not touched, they were equally made applicable. However, the no rules of Muslim law that have not been expressly directed to be applied if they have been abolished either expressly or by necessary implication. In short, Indian legislatures had given an authority to abrogate Muslim customs by way of legislating, and if those customs were abrogated, such customs will not be continued. And if some customs were continued by Indian legislatures, they were made applicable in India. For example, the Muslim criminal law, Islamic law of evidence, these legislations were abrogated, and Indian Evidence Act, Indian Penal Code, these were made. And therefore, the aspects relating to criminal law, evidence acts were regulated by these law and not by the Muslim law. And thereby, in the Mufizil areas of the state of Bombay, the law to be applied in the trial of suits was to be acts of parliament and regulations of government applicable to the case. In their absence, the usage of the contrary in which the suit arose was to be applied and not the Muslim personal law. If none such appear or if there is no custom, the law of the defendant, and in the absence of any specific law and usages, principles of justice, equity, good conscience were adhered as per the section 26 of Bombay Regulations of 1827. So, the what we can say, the Muslim law, personal law was continued to be made applicable in India, except certain changes made by the legislature by way of Shariat Application Act. Now we will see what Shariat Application Act and how many sections were involved in Shariat Application Act and how Shariat Application Act, even though codified legislation, it differs from other codified legislations like Hindu Marriage Act or Adoption Guardianship Act, etc. Because earlier we seen the codified law are such for which act, sections and year is there. Now, here for Shariat Application Act, we have the word act, we have the year, as well as we have 5 to 6 sections in this act. However, it is differ from other codified legislation because it does not define the concepts. It neither regulate the procedure. It only says whatever Muslim personal law is there relating to certain aspects, which were stated herein in this act are applicable to Muslims. So codification is made to limited extent in the sense uncodified Muslim personal law will applicable to Muslims in India, and this is declared by the Shariat Application Act of 1937. That's it. So we will discuss now the text of Shariat Application Act. So the place of different enactment authorizing and regulating the application of Muslim law to Muslims in the different states of India is now taken by Muslim Personal Law, that is Shariat Application Act 1937. In other words, the Muslim Personal Law was made uniform for whole of India by this act. So in entire India, only the provisions laid down or concepts covered collected by this act will be applied. So the word Shariat is derived from the word Sharia. It means Islamic canonical. Canonical. Canonical means based on the custom and traditions. So Shariat means Islamic canonical law based on the teaching of the Quran and the traditions of the Prophet. That is Hadith we seen in the development. And Sunnah means the way shown by the Muhammad or way shown by the Allah. That is the called as Sunnah. And behavior of the Prophet, conduct of the Prophet is called as Hadith. Now these were collected as already seen by us. They were called as Shariat. So Quran along with Hadith and Sunnah consist of the Muslim law or collectively called as Shariat, and that is to be applied to Muslims in India. So the object of the act is, in its preamble, it was stated that to make provision for the application of Muslim personal law to Muslims in India. So this act exclusively applicable to Muslims in India. So this act came into force on 7th October 1937. As per this act, notwithstanding any custom usages to the contrary, in all questions except certain questions like agricultural land, they were beyond the purview of Shariat Application Act. So, except agricultural land, the questions relating to intestate succession, special property of female such as dower, etc., property received in gift or provisions relating to marriage, dissolution of marriage, including talaq, zihar. Now these are the kind of divorce that we will see later. Zihar, lian, hula, and mubarak, maintenance, dower, guardianship, for all aspect, the Muslim personal law is applicable as per section 2. So section 2 of the act make Muslim personal law applicable for all personal events or personal questions relating to Muslim community if both the parties to the suit or to the case are Muslim. So it will be seen from the matter enumerated above that it constitutes practically a branch of law, and hence the act is called the Muslim Personal Law Application Act. So section 2 abrogate the customs certain which were derogatory to the Muslim law. Section 3 of the act is applicable for will and legacies that were governed by the Muslim personal law. One case is there, Nurjahan versus V. Tisenko, 1941 Calcutta High Court. So far as marriage and divorce, the Shariat Act requires the court to apply Muslim law only if both parties are Muslim. So the first criteria for application is both parties should be Muslim. If one of them is Muslim, the act will not apply. and such marriage will become void. Similarly, in Ashraf Ali versus Muhammad Ali, 1947 Bombay, the Bombay High Court held that testamentary trust, means trust created by wasiyat, are covered under Section 2 of the Act. Therefore, involving such trust and work, the Muslim personal law is applicable, and 3 Work Act will be applicable, and Section 3 of Shariat is not applicable. Then we will see Section 3. It says when Muslim personal law is applicable. So, if following conditions are satisfied, then it is applicable. First, the person who satisfies the prescribed authority that he is a Muslim. Secondly, he is competent to contract. Sorry, Section 3 deals with the power to make declaration. Under Section 3, a person can make declaration and say that he is ready to be governed by Shariat Application Act. For that, he has to make a declaration. And he can make declaration only if he is a Muslim. Secondly, he is competent to contract. And thirdly, he is a resident in India. Then he can make a declaration in a format given under this act and say that he is accepted to be governed by this law and his family members as well as his descendants. And thereafter, the provision of this act is applicable to him. So, provision is made to make declaration. Second, third. So, Section 3 allows any Muslim person to declare by declaration that he is ready to govern by the Shariat Application Act if he is already not governed. But these 3 conditions are there. Thereafter, he will be governed by the Muslim personal law. So, then Section 4, it empowers the state government to make rules to carry out the purposes of Act. So, state government can make rules to carry out the purposes of this act or to make this act more effective. The powers were given to the state government. And Section 6 repealed certain acts. Repealed means to cancel. Those acts which were already prevailing and inconsistent. Shariat, SHARI. स्टडी मटेरियल मध्ये आहे शरीयतचं स्पेलिंग. सी शरीयत ऍप्लिकेशन ऍक्ट. SHARIAT. Sharia and Shariat are same. So, Section 4 confer rule making power. Section 6 repeal certain act. Repeal means to cancel. Now we will see the effect of apostasy. Now, apostasy means conversion. Suppose a Muslim person convert from Muslim religion to Hindu religion, what will be the effect of his conversion on succession, on marriage, or if any person convert to Islam from Hindu to Muslim or from any other religion to Muslim religion, what will be the effect? And such conversion is called as apostasy. So keep in mind the word apostasy, and apostat means the person who is converted. So first we will see what is the effect of apostasy on succession. Succession means after death of the person, his property devolves upon his heirs. वारसा हक्काने संपत्ती जाण्याची प्रक्रिया म्हणजे सक्सेशन. आता इथं कन्व्हर्जन मध्ये आपण पाहू की मुस्लिम व्यक्तीनं जर धर्मांतर केलं असेल तर त्याच्या बाबतीत कन्व्हर्जनचा काय इफेक्ट होईल. येस, वारस प्रमाणपत्र that can be taken from civil court to claim succession, to claim oneself as a heir. Yes, Vaibhav. So first we will see what is the effect of apostasy from Islam on succession. So a convert from Islam does not lose his right of inheritance because of freedom of religion act. तर जरी एखाद्या व्यक्तीने धर्मांतर केलं असेल तरी त्याचा वारसदार म्हणून अधिकार हा जात नाही. कारण फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलिजन ऍक्ट 1850 नुसार प्रत्येकाला फ्रीडम दिलेली आहे कुठल्याही रिलिजन मध्ये कन्वर्ट करण्याची आणि त्या कन्व्हर्जन मुळे त्याच्या अधिकारावर परिणाम होणार नाही. ओके.